Hello, Brent. Good morning to you.
Good morning. So our HR is pretty prompt about setting up meetings like this, and so I don't know if you're used to things, along these lines, but it's just check in for yourself, and then and then effectively for me, but relative to how things are going. How's the first month?
Busy.
It's gonna stay busy.
Good.
It's interesting too. I told you that there's that one project that Lisa Mascalusa wanted some help on. That was that report for that building, and I said, nah, we just don't have time. Go to the other engineer, and it made her kind of grumpy, I guess. But again, Michael, the near term, I'm hoping, minus the fact that you worked on that air quality, and there's always other things that are going to come up, unfortunately. But we need to, complete that intuitive surgical project.
Yep. That's what I've been working on. Hopefully, I don't get interrupted again.
Yeah, yeah. So, how is that? Laterally, I know that you said you were working on the E tabs and everything else, and are you getting to a point that that we know we have an answer, or what's the scoop?
I've got all the lateral information entered. So now I'm working, I'm happy with the model and how it's working. Now I just got to make sure everything works, basically the lateral,
Okay.
in terms of can the members handle it. And this had to be put in the computer because the roof, as you're aware, half of it is light gauge deck, the other half is concrete deck. So that really affects what how it's handled in the computer, because now you've moved the mass over.
Right.
Because half of it's flexible and half of it's rigid, basically.
Effectively, yeah, in relative terms, yeah. So, okay, well, as far as your resources, finding things, how's that going? As far as starting to feel your way through the network.
I'm getting better at it. I'm still going to have to ask for help. So.
Yeah, not a problem. and then obviously too, I mean, just like in the meeting, we have enough things that are similar in nature before in the past.
Hey, Scott. Good morning to you.
Yes, Scott, we've already started getting into the discussions.
Yes, good.
and we're talking about the network a little bit right now, and finding things, and then it's basically, also, if there's questions that, as an example, we just did the mechanical screen discussion, and I gave an example of detailing that we've used on another project. So hopefully that makes it more efficient. And then at some point, it's a coordination effort, with Michael Schwartz about, where he puts it, because there's an existing mechanical screen up there, and we have columns that it'd be nicer from our perspective to reuse, but there might be a desire to change the massing on that. And then that, depending on what area, it's going to be tougher to make it work than not. It's all open web joists except for that center bay. And open web joists are not as friendly to modify.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think the assumption is that roof deck is stripped clean. There's a whole new roof membrane and everything. So don't feel like you need to reuse the columns.
Yeah. Well, it's still not that easy. I mean, if it was a white flange, it's much easier to make modifications, but like Michael Schwartz said, it's because that's why they pay us the big bucks to figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
So
sounds like an architect, doesn't it?
I could never be an architect because I would just make boxes.
Yeah.
So yeah. So the so obviously we have different networks all the way through different offices. The L, the T, or whatever. And have you figured out how to do all the drive shortcuts?
I've got I haven't done the shortcuts. I know where stuff generally is, so I've got access to the T drive. And then
so there's a way to add any directory, or office directory, by doing the shortcuts. So I could walk you through that again. There's basically, I think it's in the W drive where the shortcut.
I got told by AT how to do that. So
okay. And then And I know that you wanted to be creative about putting name extensions, after the number extensions, so it's easier to work through. But like I said, I think that's a bigger to do. I don't know, Scott. Michael's going. It'd be a lot easier if, besides the numbers, that we actually had a name on it, so that you could actually find it a little bit easier.
You think? Really, what is 3649-236-013?
I don't know, but I mean, I'm talking about the building it's on.
Yeah. So, what I've learned is, well, number one, I'm very careful to add those numbers into my timesheet. So it's kind of a nice way to keep track of that. And then in Vision, I don't know if you get a dashboard that shows a summary of all the different projects you're staffed on. I get it because I'm a principal, but I get a dashboard.
I saw one. I'm on apparently on the 5th floor. There's a project in our building on the 5th floor, and I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask, how does that work exactly? Do I get an email? Do I get notified? Is there a meeting? What happens?
Oh, in your staffing.
Yeah, because some places do it differently. They have a meeting. They say, okay, these are the projects you're working on. And
yeah, I mean, it's going to vary between principal. And if you see something popping up on your staffing that you don't know anything about, you can always reach out to Tori. And feel free to reach out to me. And I've become pretty good at responding to messages in Teams. So if you can get comfortable with the Teams chat, that's a really good way to connect with people.
Yeah, I've been using that a lot. So.
Okay, good.
Because everybody's sending me stuff. The problem with Teams, the way this version is set up, we've set it up. The company, I should say, is after 3 days, it's gone. Everything you typed in is gone. That's what I don't like.
I noticed that. Yeah.
I don't like it because when you're, you go through it later.
I'm sure it has to do with memory and what have you. So, are you feeling comfortable in the office? How many days a week are you in?
Actually, this week I haven't been in much. I've only been in 2 days. And the reason is, for me, I don't know if you're familiar in San Jose, the light rail system was shut down to get to the office. They were redoing it. So when light rail actually goes by my house and comes down to right at the office. So for me, light rail will be easy to do. It's just the past few weeks, with light rail shut down, I didn't want to try venturing downtown. Yeah. Because parking's expensive.
Parking's expensive. Yeah, and I appreciate that. And you shouldn't feel like you need to be in the office every day. That's not the intent.
No, Monday and Thursdays, Monday and Thursdays for the rest of this month I can. I'm taking classes, so that's what I've been doing, at 4 o'clock. That's why I leave early, and then I have to take my daughter to school, and I have to pick her up, so, because my wife works in Los Gatos.
Okay.
She's a nanny. She takes her, actually, not Los Gatos, Cupertino, so it's a long ways.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're settling into a rhythm. And, certainly I think your biggest effort right now is on intuitive, and which is, I guess you're getting a lot of FaceTime with Brent, which kind of helps with bringing you along and getting you on board and getting you settled into some of the projects.
Yeah.
And then I imagine you're getting requests for kind of smaller scopes.
Yeah, I got one for
folks in San Jose.
Yeah, I got one for Apple. I was there last week. I got to wrap that one up, and then there's another one I have a meeting today. This is a building in Palo Alto, and I've actually been by the building. I've seen it. It's on California El Camino. I've driven by it, so I know where it is. It used to be the Radio Shack.
Yeah. What project is that?
400 California Avenue, and apparently on Google, when I typed the address in, it was the wrong spot.
But what's the name of the client?
I don't know. CIM Group.
So this
okay.
This is one of Lisa's projects.
Greg with Lisa?
Greg is the PM, and
yeah.
So this is something that I initiated with I'll say 6 months ago, And so they're wanting you to do a DD, and it's basically adding enclosed space at the roof level.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah. So the
a vertical addition. Yeah.
Right. So we only did I did a quickie PDF that communicated what would need to be done as far as adding lateral elements, and then doing a quickie mass element change on the lateral system, but basically said this is based on very rough estimates, and to be more comfortable, we'll have to do a more detailed analysis, and then we really should be meeting with the city to make sure that they're in agreement with the approach. But at this point, no one wants to meet with the city until they have their answer, it seems. And even still, Michael, there's not a lot of budget in these things. I mean, basically, the first effort, I think they said you have 10 hours less. And so basically, I think I did something like in 6 hours. And then they probably only have enough budget for, let's say, 4 days. Who knows? 2 days. I mean, so the problem is that there's no budget to do a very thorough. And so you have to be very picky about what do you think is going to be your deliverable. And I think in this situation, it's just doing a quickie RAM of the existing and a quickie RAM of the change. And then saying, does the element change? Is it less than 10% or not?
Yeah, or ETABS will do it too. And some of it, for me, sometimes it's by hand. You can actually see it,
Yeah, whatever you feel comfortable with, but it has to, like I like RAM because that's what we use, and I'm able to do it fairly efficiently, and I call it within hours I could have a working model. So if you feel that you could have a working model in ETABS, go for it.
Yeah, because I tend to do the lateral only models on these things.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what I've used. I just haven't used RAM as much as I would like, and that's something I want to learn more of, because I've reviewed RAM, but I have not designed. I've only designed probably 2 projects with RAM. ETABS is the one I was familiar with because I've done a lot of work with it.
Yep.
Compared to RAM, I just feel.
So we don't have a lot of licenses with ETABS, because it's not used a lot within our firm, most of the engineers. And then what we found, and mainly because of the, I'll call it the analysis portion, RAM is a much more friendly user interaction relative to updating members and everything else in comparison to ETABS, at least historically in my knowledge, because the ETABS output can be, the graphics is great on the screen. The output for the, for reviewing the analysis is not.
Yeah, because that one you have to print a lot of screen dumps, basically.
Yeah.
On that. RAM, and one of the companies I worked, RAM was used for the gravity, but not for the lateral.
Yeah.
And the reason that they chose, and maybe it's changed when I used it last, when I used RAM, it did a semi-2D model, and some of these complicated buildings, a 3D model would be better. So that's why they felt ETABS would be better for that reason. Plus, with a lot of these new high-rises that they're getting, I haven't designed one, I took a class in it. RAM doesn't do it as far as I know.
It can, but for a high rise, just our tallest buildings typically we do are maybe around the 5-story range.
Yep.
So we don't do a lot of high rises. And if you think of the type of projects with the healthcare and arts, community education, basically we're doing large, multi-level, mezzanine, whatever. Not much more than, 100 feet at the max.
Yeah, floor plan. I call it big floor plan.
Yeah, big floor plan.
Like the one I did years ago in Merced, that was 9 2-story buildings. 700,000 square feet. That's big for a high school campus.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit, so as far as what things seem to be challenging as far as, we mentioned the drives and, timesheets and finding stuff. And then again, when I need to find information too, I use Project Central a lot on the HIP page.
Yep.
Have you used that much?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so
what I've been doing right now is when somebody sees a new project, I ask them where it is and give me the number, and if there's existing documents, I want to have those, before I have a discussion.
Well, and even in vision too, you know, when if you know the client or something like that, you could also multiple ways to come up with the names of potential projects, to be able to look it up that way too. So within the timesheet, the vision, there's ways to be able to search based on either the client name, the commission, the client commission number, uh, the short project names. There's different ways also to find projects within Vision.
Mm-hmm.
So, beyond that, I mean, it's really, anything seemed to be a challenge, not, and I think we're pretty clear about that. We're definitely going to be in a hybrid situation. We've been doing surveys, and so I don't see us ever going back at 100% level. There's definitely going to be a desire, I think, as we go down, to at least have a presence in the office.
Mm-hmm.
So the survey that I've seen is that a third would probably still like to be really light. A third, I'll call it maybe the 50-50 version or a little bit more. And then there's only another third that, says, sign me up, I want to be in the office almost all the time. So
it really depends on the circumstances, like if certain things you need in the office, then I would come in, like viewing the BIM models would be an example. Now I've figured out a way to do it. I don't know if Scott's done this or not. If he's hardwired with his laptop.
I'm VPN.
Okay.
And
okay.
I am on a wireless network.
Okay. Yeah, because I got a hold of somebody told me from AT&T. They said in our meeting, they said having a wired connection. So with your internet connection, this is what I found. You want to ask for a booster. You'll have to pay for it. And then on our computers, the Lenovo's, you have to go to Staples. They'll have it. It's an adapter that plugs the Ethernet into the USB-C port. So you're wired in.
You're one step ahead of me on that. I mean, we have an extender, and I'm in you can see I'm in one of our back bedrooms here.
Yep.
And it generally works. There are days where there's just bandwidth issues, but for the most part, it's worked well.
Yeah. Yeah, my daughter plays YouTube and stuff all the time when because I take a class at night, when they have 100 people in the class, the Ethernet connection made a difference.
Yeah.
So Lisa was having problems the other day, so I told her what to get. And the other thing that might be a problem for you, if it's happening, have the ISP check it, because what happens is when people get hooked into the neighborhood for the internet, they may have inadvertently taken your channel. Basically that's how it works. There's like 20 channels or something. And when somebody gets a new one, they grab onto your channel. So that could be why it's slow.
Yeah.
Only the ISP can flip the channel. They have to set something.
Yeah.
Because it happened to me here a lot.
You're way ahead of me. You're way ahead of me on this. So that's good news. I was going to ask you, the Apple project.
Which one?
Was that at Apple Park that you worked on?
Yes. The first one, yes.
And did you go on site with Satoshi or James?
No.
Okay.
Not on that one, no. The only one I've been on site is Patrick Henry 2 or 01. It's one of the Patrick Henrys over on Patrick Henry.
Yeah, with Sharon and Ching. Huh?
Yeah.
Interesting. And the work that you did at Apple Park, was that equipment anchorage?
Yeah, that was equipment anchorage with a slab. Brent reviewed it, and hopefully you sent it to the building department, hopefully.
Okay.
This is the quality project number phase 2.
AQM2.
Oh, that one. Okay, yeah, that one. Yeah, with Krista. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting, speaking of her, I'm getting a lot of conversations too, so.
Oh, a lot of
questions now.
A lot of questions. Welcome to my world.
Next.
So, the other body of work, I'll call it, that's floating out there is supporting the Apple Park team and work inside the spaceship. And that's just going to take time for you to get to know that building, and Brent will have ideas as to how to best go about doing that. Brent, I wanted to put on your radar, if you haven't seen yet, Breakfast Club Day 2.
Oh, really?
Yes. So, Michael, this is a one-room project that's built like a piece of furniture, and it's a screening room within the spaceship. And Robert Aidlet is the project architect PM out of our San Francisco office. Brent, they've decided that the screen is not large enough. They want to do a larger screen
within the same space.
They want to rip the one out and put a new one in, and it's going to have this ripple effect. I imagine Robert will be reaching out to you. Obviously, there'll be a structural component to it.
Right.
Yeah. I want to say I've been by the Apple spaceship. I have not been in it. The closest I've come, actually, there's two buildings. I don't know if you know Main Street Cupertino has some Apple buildings in it. And then the Apple store across the street.
Yeah. Well, you're going to get to know that building. You're going to go behind the veil, Michael. So, and it's quite the building.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was the largest space isolated building at the time when it was built, and
it also has terrazzo ceilings.
Oh boy!
They have terrazzo panels hung from the structure above. So you're gonna have fun.
Oh boy!
That one. Yeah. So, do you have any questions for Brent and I?
I don't have any. No, Brent, I'm gonna get input on some of the stuff on Intuitive before I go too far with it. Because retrofits are tricky, and what I come up with may not be the most efficient. So I want to get a second opinion on some of the stuff.
Yeah.
Because I fear that it's going to cost too much, and I get very antsy on it. And you probably know more about the building than I do. And hopefully with our meeting with Build Group, I get to ask a lot of questions. Because it doesn't make sense to put it in there and you can't build it. I saw on Intuitive there's vinyl asbestos tile in this building.
That'll all come out.
That'll come out, okay, because that has to be remediated, I thought, unless it's changed.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about hazmat.
Okay.
I would just stay focused on the structural part.
Well, it makes a difference when you do the retrofit. Years ago, there was a courthouse I worked on, and they couldn't do the collectors because they didn't want to remove the VAT.
This building is going to be stripped down to the concrete.
Oh boy!
So it's the closest thing to doing a ground up without doing a ground up that we can get. So, stripped down.
Well, at least you don't have to worry about different building systems. That I had to.
Yeah, and so the urgency here is there's what is it? I'm going to use quotation marks. 100% CD package on structural that's coming up mid-April, and that's burning down hard and fast. So I think really we need to start picking conceptual directions and running with it. So, and I would be working with Brent on that, and be efficient in that process.
Yes.
And be cost sensitive. We're already seeing the initial MEP bids on core and shell coming in like 20% high. So cost will be a constant theme on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then Brent, you have Daryl working on it too.
Yeah. So Daryl, trying to get him back on. We did the big push, and I keep on waving my hand saying you got to get on this project again. And I got Joy Beers back on to wrap up a few more things too. So.
Yeah, well, that's good because what that does, Michael, it gives you even broader context. it'd be important for me. One of my bigger concerns is to make sure you have a peer group around you, because you're here in San Jose.
Yeah.
But I think we can build that community online. The other thing is, Michael, if it makes sense for you to get in a car and go up to Sacramento for a day, I'd encourage you to do that.
Yeah.
There's lots of different ways to kind of skin that cat. You could jump on Amtrak and get up to Sacramento. There's ways to do that. I'm hearing that some of our folks travel down the Bay Area that way on a regular basis. So be thinking about different ways for you to get bonded to your peers.
Yep, let's go, man. Go, girl. Dog.
I have one too.
What do you got?
I have a little rat terrier.
I have a mini poodle.
Yeah, her name is Willa. How I get my exercise.
Well, that too, and on the weekends I take her to different places. So I have a car harness. You have one of those?
No, but she's pretty well trained to stay in back.
You understand, if you slam on the brakes, no more dog.
Yes.
And the car harness it's really strong. They work. I had to slam on the brakes when I was driving in Seattle, and the car harness saved the dog. It hooks into your seatbelt. It's rated like 10 times the weight of the dog. So.
Like ball protection. Actually, I got a meeting I got to go to too.
Yep.
Michael. So, but yeah, I would like to know how things are going on your end. Let me know how the lateral's going. You could, one way too is just to set up a meeting for a Zoom meeting and go over where you're at.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Okay.
Yep. Anything else for me, Scott?
Yeah, I just let us know what questions you have, what you need, what have you, and stay close to the project work.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
It's a busy time.
Yeah, and I'm going to need Daryl's help on this, but before I do it, I want to talk to Brent before I go too far with it, because what I may come up with may not be the most efficient.
Well, you better grab him and hog tie him, because he's a moving target.
Well, what I used to do is come up with the stuff in the morning, email it, what I used to do when my boss is, email him at night. Yeah, I have stuff I'd like you to look at, because what happens is the boss will used to come in real early in the office and get a cup of coffee, so it determines his morning routine.
You'll get a feel for how to layer in with him.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta go. I've got 2 permit sets going out today.
Yep.
So it's a busy time, but great to connect. Okay.
Thanks so much, Scott.
Yeah. Take care.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
per pound.